She is actually a certified trichologist with a hair treatment center that treats for different types of hair and scalp issues. And she's a very active gym lady, yeah, and who likes to do trail runs. She's done Viper and Spartan challenges and runs marathon. Crazy, yeah. So she is not an average person that just exercise on a regular basis. She actually pushes herself across the limit, yeah. So beyond the limit as well. And now she finds joy in meditating after listening and watching to many Joe Dispenza videos and episodes. So I'm not gonna spill the beans. I'm gonna invite her to take the spotlight. Rosanna, are you there, Rosanna?
Hi, Chinua.
Hello, this is the lady that looks 20 years younger than her age. Oh my goodness, we're so happy to have you here today, Rosanna. Thank you for doing this. Your testimonial will be able to touch many more lives who people are looking for an answer as well. Yeah. So I'm going to pass the stage to you. Rosanna, have fun. You have
Okay,
the whole session to you. Take your time.
all right. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Okay, as Chinua has already introduced me. All right. Basically, my journey with LiveWave started. Okay, first I won't tell you about my journey with LiveWave. I will tell you about what happened to me last year towards end of June. I woke up one morning, and all of a sudden I was like, hey, how come I can't, move my fingers? What's happening? Everything was like, I was in pain. And my threshold of pain, I can handle pain up to 10, not a problem. I have done a Viper challenge when after I think I sprained my ankle and I still went for it. So that's me. The doctor said, no, you can't do it. But I said, no, I can. And I ran on one foot, still doing it, and there are certain things that I couldn't do, but I still did it. So threshold for pain to me was, and my threshold was very high, right? And I woke up and all of a sudden my feet was like, everything was on fire. Every joint in my body hurt so badly. And I was like, what is going on? Because, then I saw my hands, my arm, this here was swollen. My feet was swollen. It was red. It was like, it's burning. It's really burning. You can see a photo of me. This is how I looked. I was like depressed. I really went into a state of depression. I was like, crying, why. So knowing that actually, everybody has to know that, you don't take your health for granted. Never take your health for granted, because they say things can just happen, and I never thought, right? Because I'm such an active person, I eat healthy, I watch what I eat, and take my supplements and exercise, and how could this happen to me? But things happen. I'm 68 years old, by the way. Okay. Right. And thank you, Chinua. So when this happened, and I was like, I tried to open my door, and I was like, I couldn't even turn the knob because my wrist was also in pain. I couldn't open my jaw, because everything here, every joint hurt so badly. So at that time, I was like, what am I gonna do? So what I did was, slowly I had to walk down the stairs really slowly, holding onto the railings, got myself to the kitchen, took 3 Akosia, which is like 90 mg. That's 3 of it. Sat down, waited till I could, the pain could subside. Then I couldn't drive because turning the steering. So I walked to the doctor. I walked there slowly. When I reached the clinic, I told the nurse, I need to see the doctor right away. I'm in pain, tremendous pain. And they know me, and they never seen me like that. It was like tears were already flowing. So straight away, the doctor took me in, and I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. Please, I showed him my fingers. I showed him my feet. I said, I can't even open my jaw and everything, you know. I said, I took 3 Akosia, and he was like, what? So he said, okay, sit down. So he said, what we're gonna do? Have you eaten? I said, I've not eaten. I took Akosia on an empty stomach. He said, okay, we're gonna do a blood test. And then he said, only thing I'm gonna do for you, I'm gonna inject steroids. So that's what he did. And then he said, the steroids helped, of course. It was like a wow, you know. Then he said, you're going to be on steroids now, okay, until we can get the results back. You take the steroids 3 times a day. I've never taken steroids before. And I'm like, steroids? He said, well, that's the only thing I can give you now. It will help you. I tell you, yes, the steroids did help. But, you know, after a week of taking steroids, what I did was, I was like, no, I can't keep taking this. So the steroids are so small. I take a little knife and I cut it into half because I didn't want to take a full steroid. So that's what I did. So that was in June, coming to July already. So I carried on my steroids. Finally, the results came out. I am positive for rheumatoid arthritis. My ESR, okay, was 85. That is very high. That means that's inflammation. That's very, very high. So carried on taking, you know, steroids until I could get an appointment with the rheumatologist. Carried on taking whatever medication, painkillers and all that, you know, any strong painkillers that will help as well. Went to the pharmacy, buy painkillers again. You know, Celebrex they gave me, take that. Take Akosia, take steroids. Then finally one day I saw Kamal. And I was like, you know, I asked him, I said, you know, do these patches really help and all that? And I said, I mean, and I said, Kamal, they're not cheap and everything. So he said, if you don't try it, you never know. And I said, okay. So Kamal came all the way where I was working in Mid Valley. He came to meet me with his wife. And he said, why don't you do a trial pack? I said, okay, I did that. So I took the trial, and I'll be honest, I went through healing crisis. I did. I told Kamal, I'm having pain. He said, you're going through a healing crisis. I said, okay, I will take the healing crisis because if you say that it will help, it will help. So fine. Then he said, pack the Thion, which I did. Then I think that was, I met him in October, or no, I'm probably in, October. Then I said, okay, Kamal, I will go for it. So I did, I started my patching journey. And in the beginning, I'll be honest, when I started my patching journey, I put Aeon. I thought, wow, this is good, man. Because I didn't feel the pain, I didn't feel inflammation. This was before the healing crisis, you know, you get so, wow, so hype and all that, because energy, and I mean, X39 gives you energy, it makes you feel, wow, you know, and then the Aeon was like, wow, this is great. But when the healing crisis came, there, I was like, this is not great. But never mind, started with the journey. So I went. And I think the Papa Walk was somewhere in November. So I started my journey in and towards end October. So Papa Walk, I went, and it's supposed to be a walk. But I walked, and that time my hands were like back to, you know, what it was normal. You know, no more inflammation, no more pain. Then there was this little boy, I remember, he was, you know, running, you know, and he was turning around looking at me. So I was like, you know, this is a challenge. Should I try it? So I ran. And I went, wow, I ran. Then I stopped. I ran and I stopped. And I said, nothing is going on my knees. My knees feel great, you know. My legs feel good and I'm not hurting. So I ran. And halfway while I was running, I met Jin Leong. And I was telling him about, you know, what I had. And he said, good, you know, carry on. So he said, but don't run too much, he told me. So I said, okay, so I walked. But I completed it. So then in December, I think, Chinhua, you can show my transformation. This is my transformation a month after patching. This is in December. You can see the difference in my face, the color, you know, it's glowing. and it's fair, and I myself could see the difference. I know my clients could see the difference, you know, and it's like it's a big transformation, and my journey started from there. It just went on. I think I'm now into what, probably 11 months, probably into my patching, and I haven't stopped patching. I've shared with so many people as well. Okay, and I have I have only great things to say about the patches. Don't, you know, you have, when you put the patches on, you have to believe in it. You know, it's like, you know, when it's like, okay, you know, okay, but marathon runners, you know, or swimmers, Olympics, you know, when they want to they want to go for their marathons or anything, they believe in it. They believe that they can achieve what they're going to, and that's how it got to be. You got to talk to your patches sometimes. You got to put it on and say, "Heal me." That's important. You know, it's not taking a medicine and saying, "Oh, that medicine's going to heal me." You've got to put the patches, touch it with your hand, and say, "Heal me." You know, all the patches that I use, I do that every day. I mean, when I'm driving my car, I always say I'm grateful for LifeWave. I'm grateful for the patches. The patches are healing me. You have to believe in it, and you have to believe that you're healed. So to me, when I talk to people and I don't tell them, hey, I have rheumatoid arthritis. I don't. I say I had rheumatoid arthritis. That's past. It's my past tense. That's how I believe in it. You see? So when I go out anywhere and I'm using patches, people ask me, hey, what is that? I say, oh, this is LifeWave. It saves your life. You know, it's a light. It shines within you. I'm like, huh? So I met people, like today I was telling Chinua, I went to the park to do my walk and I met this lady. She's 68 and she said, you're using LifeWave? I said, yeah. She said, how long? I said, oh, I'm ready like 11 months. She said, I'm 4 months. So I said, how's the patching? She said, frankly speaking, I use Aeon, but I can't sleep at night. I said, oh, Aeon is my happy patch. I love Aeon because the minute I put it, I will go to sleep. The funny thing about Aeon is, okay, with rheumatoid arthritis, there are some food you can't eat, right? They say nightshades. I remember my sister, I went to a place and she said, oh, I didn't cook dinner, but I made Maggie mee. And I said, okay, I'll have a bit of it. So I did. I had the Maggie mee. I always have my patches in my bag. And the thing about me is, because I joined a lot of Facebook, LifeWave, you know, and I see people writing things. So, and someone did ask, how do you keep your patches? Because, you know, apparently if you put it in your pocket, it activates even then, you know. So this person said, use aluminum foil, which my patches are always in aluminum foil, double, to keep it, you know, that it won't activate. So that's, I remember, and what was it I was going to say? So this is how I get interested in it. I watch, you know, I join the LifeWave, you know, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I listen to YouTube and all that. So this is, and I told her, I said, Aeon is my happy patch. So my sister made a Maggie mee. And Maggie mee is processed food, which I don't have at home. I do not allow Maggie mee in my home because it's processed. When I had it on my way home while I was driving, I could feel my feet were starting that tingling, you know, that thing that was coming. For rheumatoid, you will feel it. It's like, you know, it's like little things ants biting you or something. So quickly I stopped by the side of the road. I took out one Aeon and patched it. And then, whoop, the tingling went away. Then I called my sister. I said, I can't eat Maggie mee. I should not have touched it. You know, the Maggie mee. So I'll be honest, there are food that I still eat. And every time, you know, I mean, life is short. So, you know, we do it, you know. So I put my Aeon patch and it's gone. I have like Ice Wave. I've never used Ice Wave yet. I've not used Ice Wave. Aeon is my beauty. You know, it's my darling. That's why I call it the happiest patch. I put it on, I sleep. You know, I use aloe vera at night. So I told her, I said, you know what? If Aeon doesn't help you for sleeping, use aloe vera. And she said, okay. She said, funny thing, she told me this funny thing. She said, a friend of mine, someone was introducing her to LifeWave. And the lady that introduced her, so she followed, and she asked the lady, she said, can I ask you, you're selling my friend, you're selling, you're trying to introduce this, but how long have you used it? And the lady said, oh, about 4 weeks. She said, I think, if you want to share with someone, you ought to use it at least for a month because you look very tired. She said, and I was like, oh, okay. She said, no, the lady really looked and she was like trying, So I told my friend, I said, you know what? Use the patches, yes. But she told us, use it for 1 month, then you share with people, then you see your transformation. That's how it's got to be. So for me, when I started patching, I didn't share it with anyone first. I had to see things for myself and I had to show my transformation. I had to show my hands, show my pictures of what this. You see, this is how inflammation is, how red and burning. It's like fire, really fire burning, all red, swollen. It's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, I don't wish this upon anyone. Okay, so this is last year in 2024, before patching. And can you see when rheumatoid arthritis, normally you get, little nodules coming out. I had little nodules on my fingers and all, but they're gone. They're gone. I don't have these little nodules like coming out, protruding out. But yes, my fingers, as you can see, they're gone a bit sideways. That is okay. I'm alive. I'm well. I can use my hands. I can drive. I can carry weights. Everything. I can go to the gym. I can run. That to me it's a happiness already. It's a dream come true. No one. I mean, no. Yeah, that is what's important. So I would say that if you want to, I was on steroids, but I'm no more taking steroids. Yeah, no more. I mean, I stopped last year, finished. Some steroids are over. And I remember the doctor asked me, at HU, my hospital is at doctors at HUKM. She said, "Do you need steroids?" I said, "No." And she asked me. She said, "Can I ask you something?" She said, "Your healing is quite fast. I would say." She said, "Are you taking your methotrexate? That's what they give you." She said, "First we do methotrexate, which is a chemo. And when I had my rheumatoid, I took it. I was on 3 tablets. I took it on a Sunday, I remember, and it was a horrible. I had brain fog. My stomach hurt. I threw up. This is the first time I'm taking a cancer. I asked the doctor, this is cancer. It's like, she said, no, don't worry. It's only 3 tablets. It's 2.5. I said, yeah, but it's still medicine going into my body, right? And she said, yeah, but do you know something? If you don't take this, it's going to get worse. Your fingers and hands are going to be deformed. So you have to. So I was like, okay. So I did. I was on that methotrexate. So 3 tablets. And I became a doctor myself. Actually, I should not be, but please, anyone here, please don't stop your medication yourself. Yeah, don't be smart like me because I did that. Okay, I started my patching last year, somewhere in I think April. I decided to cut down on my methotrexate myself. Okay, from 3 I went to 2. All right. And then I did 2 a month. Then, so methotrexate is once a week, and you have to drink a lot of water, everything. And you have to take folic acid and calcium. That's what they gave you. Then, that was after the next 1 month, I went down to 1. So when I went to the doctor and she asked, "Are you on your methotrexate?" I said, "Yeah, sure, yeah." And she said, "Your blood results are pretty good, She said, "That's quite fast." And I told her, she asked me, are you doing anything else? I said, I've gone back to the gym. And I said, can you see this patch on my feet? She said, what is it? I said, well, this is the patch that has reduced my inflammation. Yeah, I told her, this is the patch. And she said, what is it? I said, it's LifeWave. Well, she said, if you are happy and you like it, carry on using it, I said, I will. So she said, okay, I tell you what, I saw her in February. She said, I'll see you only in August. I was like, that's a long time. She said, you're good. So you don't, normally we would see a patient every 2 to 3 months, but you don't need to for me to see you. She said, you're very lucky because most people, they will come in, the next round will be infusion. I was like, oh God, I didn't want that. So I went for my, I think I'm back at the gym. I'm running again. I'm carrying weights. My aim, in 2024, before I had rheumatoid, I was doing hip thrusts with 90 kg. So I'm aiming to start back on that again. And I know I can. All right. So that's definitely 100% I can do 90 kg. That's not a problem for me. Yeah. So the transformation has been amazing. Okay. As you can see, my fingers, everything has subsided. Before that, my veins, I could hardly see my veins. Now you can see my veins. So I'm back to my normal veins, Every time people say, oh, your veins are very, see? I even can go for my manicure, pedicure as well. Yeah. So you can see the difference, right? It's like, and my skin has started becoming fairer. Yeah. Because I read when you are on methotrexate, you cannot go out in the sun because you will get dark and you get burnt easily. But now I can go out in the sun already, and I love sitting in the sun. If I go for walks in the park, I hug a tree. I take off my shoes, I go on and stand on the grass and walk on the grass. That's grounding. The tree has, and I'm wearing my patches when I do for my runs in KLCC. I'm having my patches on and I hug the tree to get the energy, okay, of the tree, a big tree with the patches on, because I believe the patches do have energy, all right, and the trees do have energy. So walk on the grass, you'll be surprised what hugging a tree can do. It gives you so much energy and grounding. Walking on grass, it's wonderful, because many of times we forget that actually we used to run on the grass, we used to play hide and seek around the trees and all. So do that. You can see my feet. I'm not afraid. My left feet has gone sideways, but my right feet is still normal. My toes have a bit of, it's bent. But it's okay. I can still wear my high heel shoes, and I still wear my shoes, my sport shoes and all that. I'm not embarrassed when people look at my feet. I was just saying, oh, I had rheumatoid arthritis, but now this is what you will see, like this is what you get. But I can still go for my mani and pedi. That's important. Yeah. I actually, when I had my results and all, I went to Tongshin for acupuncture. That was like 4 times a week. And you know how much it costs, right? Acupuncture is not cheap. I remember, I went to TCM as well. My friend told me, go to this TCM one at Jalan Pandan there. He's famous. I went to see him. He said, your body is on fire. It's very heaty. And I was like, okay. He said, so that's why you're having all this. So he said, I'm going to give you this medication, this pills, and this liquid you have to drink every day and all that, and come back in 10 days. Every 10 days, I spent 180 ringgit every 10 days. So imagine how much that cost me. So I found LifeWave, okay? Then acupuncture in Tongshin, all right, it was like $50, 50 to 60 ringgit per visit. So that already calculated until I found LifeWave. So I was spending that amount of money. And it's temporary. All these are temporary. And then I was like, every time I go back and see him, say, oh no, your body is still heaty, still have to take all this syrup, still have to take all these herb pills. And I was like, these are little brown color pills, 3 times a day. Morning, afternoon, you cannot take heaty food, no curry, which I did. I listened. I drink coconut water. I take watermelon. I don't take heaty foods. All this was a no. So I listened to him, but still it didn't. There was no help still. That's how it is. So LifeWave was the one that brought my health back to me. Yeah. And then, of course, I think Chinwa, the next picture that about my cat. Okay. on July the 21st, my wonder cat, which is this little girl, okay, bit me because it was my fault. I played very rough with her and she was very angry. She bit me. And I showed it to come out. It was deep, it was bleeding. And I was like, oh my God, this is the first bite I've had from her. She's never bitten me. It was really, so I was like, okay, take off my Excedrin, I patch it over it, I put it on. With the blood and all that, then I was like, oh, never mind, just leave it on, I stick it. So I took a medical tape and taped it on, stayed on. So happened, thank God it was my off day, so I sat there. And then I took off the next day, I think the 22nd, see, 22nd, it closed up. I still carried on patching. See how fast? 21st was deep. You can see how deep it is, right? Long one. 22nd, it closed. And then on the 23rd, see, slowly, I was like, wow, I was telling my friends, look, every day I was showing them, And then on the 24th, that's it. And I suffer from keloid. I have keloid. There's no scar. It's just like a little scratch. And I noticed a lot of things that is important to understand is that people always, I know that I read everything about rheumatoid. There is no cure. There is no cure for rheumatoid. You have to understand there are certain things that there's no cure. So I'm not going to make any medical claims or that, this live weight patch is going to cure your rheumatoid arthritis. No. But whoever has any problems here, health issues, all right, do you want to keep taking medication? Because you know what will happen? You take any medication, okay, like for me was methotrexate. And every time the doctor say we need to check your liver and your kidney because this will all affect, all right? All these chemicals, medicine is chemical, right? It goes into your bloodstream. It goes into your kidney. And as you get older, you have to understand that your kidney and your liver is not like when you were young. When you are young, it's different. Everything works, synchronized. Your liver can detox easily, but not when you're older. Everything slows down. So that's why when you take all this medicine, when you're on the medication, you'll find that you always have to go to a doctor and then you'll say, oh, your blood shows your liver is a bit, levels are a bit high. So we need to put you on this. We need to put you on that and this. It's just like the other day when I went to the doctor, my blood test result, and she said, your cholesterol is a bit high. I told her, you know what? Don't worry about my cholesterol. I said, since I was 18 years old, 19, any doctor I go to will always say, you're so thin. How come your cholesterol very higher? And I was like, I don't know. But they said you eat a lot of fat food. I said, no, I don't. So they said, but you're thin and you're very active, And even now, they still ask me the same thing. Your cholesterol, this is my ESR. Can you all see how high it was? 85, and it shows here rheumatoid positive. This is how high it was. And this was in 8th of August. 8th of August. Yeah. And even you can see my pellet count was high. My MCV was high. So this is all because rheumatoid arthritis, everything goes, everything goes, is synchronized, and it shows how the whole body, everything can just flare up because of ESR going up. Everything in your blood goes haywire. Yeah. Then here it doesn't show my cholesterol. I think the next one, it will show my cholesterol. You all can see probably it, my cholesterol is a bit high, 6.8, I think somewhere there. And she asked me, she said, your cholesterol is high. I said, okay, doc, let me tell you a story. When I was 19, my cholesterol has always been high. And I know because every time I go, I do a blood test, it always shows high. I've never had a low cholesterol. And they always want to put me on statin. She said, yeah, we probably should. I said, no, you're not giving me statin because I'm not. She said, your heart, I said, I go to the gym, I eat healthy, doc. My breakfast is chia seed and yogurt. I don't take, cereals and cornflakes and all this, I don't take, I used to take oats, I stopped oats, So that's my breakfast. And I take like 2 eggs every day. I don't drink protein drinks, but I make sure I have my proper balanced meal. I don't eat dinner. Okay, that's me. I've never taken dinner. I have a good breakfast, then I have a good lunch, and that's it. Because I try to do fasting. I have done actually a 2-day fast. I have done that. I was like, I'm going to challenge myself. And I did it, just water fast. And you will try that. It will feel a difference, actually. Yeah, you feel a difference. So she said, okay, if you don't want statin, I won't give you. I said, don't worry, don't need to give me. I said, it's okay, I believe inside my body is strong and healthy, okay. That of course, I'm not, I'm ready to be having this blood work, and I seeing my hands and everything. I'm overjoyed. I said, this is the best thing, amazing, right? No one, I mean, I don't, because when it's sad when you go to the hospital. I'm there like 6 something in the morning, and I see people, diabetes, and I was telling Kamal, I said, it's a shame because when I see the people who are having diabetes and they're like overweight, and then I'm sorry for saying this, but when I see the hospitals, okay, the nurses who are treating the diabetes, they themselves are like this. I'm like, oh, this is not good, So take care of your health, and use the patches, because these patches are, as much as okay, we say they are not to treat or cure disease, but if these patches can heal you inside, can light you up inside, can bring your heart back to pumping, your kidneys function, your liver function, everything good. Why would you want to be on medication? Why? I mean, you know, don't go to the stage where it goes of not taking care of your health to becomes worse, because health is, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, it's no point. Because I've seen people who have, who have cancer, who tell me that, their brother just got, passed away from cancer, But I suppose cancer, you don't get to choose, who gets cancer, it just comes. But these patches, what they can do for you, who knows? It heals your body, and it regenerates stem cells. How you say it regenerates, it heals, it makes you younger. Why say no? Why say no to these amazing patches? Sometimes, I mean, I'm a trichologist, and I have seen people with autoimmune who have patches, alopecia areata. And I always tell them, I said, number one, why you're having all these bald patches is because your autoimmune system is attacking your hair follicles. That's why you're having patches, baldness. You're going to lose many of it, And I tell them, number one is definitely stress. Something, and you'd be surprised, a lot of people now are coming in to see me with alopecia areata. Because why? When you have stress, when they have stress, some people, they keep it inside, really deep inside, and they don't let it out. So trauma, all this, you have to speak it out. You have to let it out, cry it out, scream it out, but you have to. But if you treat, that's where it triggers and it attacks your follicles. And of course, we treat it. I can treat it, with treatments and all. But I tell them, still, you have to be the one, let go of your stress. Because if you don't let it go, if you're in, let's say you're working a job that you hate so much, why stay in it? All right. Yeah. So this is all very important. You cannot stay in a job that you hate. You cannot. So, these are what I always tell people. Job is important, but your health and your life is important. Yeah. So recently I was in Singapore. My mom had a heart attack, and my mom is 91. Uh, I know many of you would say, why don't you patch your mom? Problem with my mom is she's a very stubborn lady. And old people don't like to drink water, you know, just to get her to sit and she'll go, "Yeah," you know. So as much as I patched her, I said, you have to drink water. But because now, when I went down, I brought my patches with her, the doctor said that your mom has to control her liquid because of she's got blood in her lungs then. So I couldn't patch. But I said, never mind, I put the patch on her. But, you know, she's having Alzheimer and all. So now for the time being, she's in a rehab to, you know, to be able to get her to walk and all that. I wish I can patch her because there's no one to help to patch her. But I'm going back next month to see her. But you know, to live to 91 is amazing. You know, my mom doesn't even look 91. You know, when she arrived at the hospital, you know, the nurses and doctors said, your mom doesn't look 91. She really looks good. Yeah, but it's the inside that's not, I said, you know. And a Chinese New Year this year, when I posted a picture of Chinese New Year with my mom, everyone said, my God, your mom is 91. She doesn't look it. And the doctor said, I tell you frankly, your mom, if she didn't have health, she could even live up to 95. My mom doesn't have health issue except for Alzheimer. You know, she doesn't even have cholesterol. She doesn't, not diabetic. But her life, I think everything dropped down for her because she worked until she was 86. And yeah, that, you know, I believe that's why at 68, I'm still working. I don't want to stop working because when you stop, a lot of people I notice when they stop working, the brain just stops, you know. So there's every day we are learning new things. So learn new things, you know. There's so much to learn. Be, you know, be happy. That's important. You have to be happy. You have to wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and say to yourself, say to your name, I say that to my name. I say to the mirror, Rosanna Fernando, I love you. You are beautiful. You are amazing. You are powerful. Everything in you is positive. That is important. Wake up every day and say that to yourself because you have to love yourself. You have to love your body. And that's important. If you don't, because God has given us God, this, when we are born, God brought us in this world, right? He gave us a healthy body, but it's us who actually don't take care. That's what I always tell people. You know, even my mom, she says, "Oh, I don't want to live." I say, "It's not for you to decide. God decides when you go, and God is still wanting you to be in this world." I said with us, and you have all the people you love. So this is, you know, this is very important. So when you talk about life wave to people, you have to have the passion. You have to talk it with passion, with glow, with energy. That's important. Because if you just say, oh, you know, you should try this patch, you know, it will help you. It will, you know, you'll notice that your skin will glow, you know, you will look young. Don't say, I never tell people that. I tell them that these patches will transform, okay, whatever is going in your body. All right. Maybe some people don't see it straight away. Yeah, I saw in Facebook, you know, some people said I tried it, nothing. But in actual fact, you have to tell them it is doing something in your body. It is working. You can't see it, but eventually you will see it. But you have to be positive. You have to be patient. Consistency is very important. You know, don't use and then after say, ayah, tak ada apa, no lah, I didn't see anything, I don't see. You have to, I'll be honest with you, I didn't do the 6-6, you know, like what everyone was saying, you know, I did take a photo of myself and until a bit later I did. But, you know, I just used it and see my own, you know, how I believed in it and how it transformed me. And that's how I tell people. So, you know, you have to talk with so much energy and so much passion that, you know, it's amazing product. You know, not about, I don't tell people, I mean, to me, I didn't tell people, oh, you know, you should buy this, you should go into it, then you can start the business. No, I want people to feel it. I want people, when I share it with people, you know, whoever I share, and many of people I share with Kamal knows are more of users, you know, and I will always ask them, so how is it? How are you feeling today? And they were like, oh, nothing. Give it time. Please don't stop. Please. I said, remember, drink water. I said, and if you feel that you can't get enough water, go on Shopee and buy the Baja. Use only Baja Celtic salt. Don't buy any other Celtic salt because a lot of them have chemicals in it and all that. Buy the Baja Celtic salt. Put some under the tongue or put it in your water. Drink. Once a week, twice a week, then get coconut water. Drink. Some people can't take coconut water because too much potassium, but drink water. And they're like, huh, wow, I still have to so much. I said, at least you have to go to the toilet and pee. It's okay, not to worry. I have shared with some people, and they're like, nothing. Like I said, you know why? Because you are not consistent. 1 minute you forget, next day you forget, how to see the results. You need to be consistent. So be consistent, believe in it, okay? And when you put the patches on, put your hand over it and say, heal me, all right? Heal me, restore me back to health. And I always tell myself, I am healthy. Everything about my whole body, be grateful, number one, also. I always say I'm so grateful that my health is back to normal. I can see, and be grateful for everything you have. That's what it is, all gratitude. Be grateful and thank you. Thank you to life. Always say thank you when you finish saying, putting the patch on. Say, be good to me, heal me, like me, go in and do your job. Thank you. That's how I look at it. Okay, I think that's my presentation.
Yeah, amazing, Rosanna. So